Let's move on now to another important question. Is China provoking a war in the Indo-Pacific? This is the region I'm talking about, the Indo-Pacific, home to India, Australia, Indonesia, the Philippines, numerous small island nations, Japan and China. Is China trying to wage yet another war in the region? It is. And no matter where you're watching us from right now, you should be worried because China is once again on the offensive. The evidence comes from the Philippines. Here's what recently happened. On 6th of February, China hit a Filipino Coast Guard vessel with a military-grade laser. Some of the crew members were temporarily blinded, and in the waters that Philippines refers to as the West Philippine Sea. The incident happened on the 6th of February, I repeat. And how did it all start? The Filipino Coast Guard boat was sailing towards a Navy ship, one that was anchored in the second Thomas Shoal. It is a submerged reef. And this is where it is located on the map. China claims that this reef, yet another territorial claim against a neighbor. Manila insists that the reef belongs to the Philippines, all the more because it is located inside the country's EEZ, or the Exclusive Economic Zone. Manila has anchored a rusted World War II ship at the second Thomas Shoal. Why? To legitimize its claim on the reef. Now, this particular Coast Guard boat was headed towards that very ship. It was carrying supplies for the sailors on board, and that is when a Chinese vessel hit the Coast Guard boat with a laser. The military-grade laser was flashed twice, due to which sailors found themselves temporarily blinded. But China was not done. Its ship, the Chinese ship, made a dangerous maneuver extremely close to the Filipino Coast Guard boat. What were the Chinese trying to do? Intimidate the Filipino Coast Guard? I can't think of any other explanation at this point. Meanwhile, Manila says that Chinese actions are a quote-unquote clear violation of Philippine sovereign rights. But China has zero regrets. The Foreign Ministry says that its military's actions were lawful. There is nothing wrong in hitting a foreign ship with a laser and blinding its crew. What gives? The Chinese belief in parallel reality. Let me tell you a little more about it. You see, international law says that whatever falls within the 200 nautical mile zone from a country's coast is that country's exclusive economic zone. But China here says parts of the Filipino EEZ belongs to China. How is this possible? Because of the 9-dash line, this one. China says anything that falls within this U-shaped 9-dash line is part of China. Obviously, there is no legal basis to this claim.
The second Thomas Shoal is part of China's Spratly Islands. We hope that the Philippine side will effectively respect China's territorial sovereignty and maritime rights and interests in the South China Sea to avoid any action that may lead to the exacerbation of the dispute and complication of the situation.
China is ready to go to war to make this parallel reality mainstream, to legitimize its claim on everything that lies within the 9-dash line, and maybe beyond. And this is a war that China has been preparing for quite some time now. Remember, China has been on a hunt for permanent military presence in the Pacific Islands. In 2018, for example, it reportedly requested Vanuatu for the right to establish a permanent military presence in the island. In 2021, China drafted plans to upgrade a World War II-era runway in Kiribati. Then in April, China finally managed to sign a security pact with the Solomon Islands. Currently, it allows Chinese vessels to dock and replenish in the Solomon Islands. Moreover, analysts say that it lays the groundwork for a Chinese military outpost. It's all a build-up to what looks like yet another imminent military grab by China. China has border claims with almost every neighbor. It is aggressive on multiple fronts because let's not forget that China has also been threatening Taiwan constantly. It has even set up a date for the conquest of Taiwan. Then there are other countries that China has been provoking, like in February last year. China flashed military-grade laser towards Australian warplane. Australia said, and I quote, acts like this one have the potential to endanger lives. And do you know what else they are capable of? Triggering a war. One plane crash, one downed vessel, and before you know it, fire is being exchanged and a clash has broken out. Basically, what China has done with regard to the Filipino boat is opening a new shooting front. But why the Philippines? You see, there is no love lost there. The Philippines and China have a troubled history, which includes disputed islands and court battles. The Philippines entered 2023 hoping for a fresh start. In January this year, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. visited China. He met Beijing's top leaders, Chinese President Xi Jinping, also the Standing Committee Chairman of the National People's Congress. They told him that China would resolve the maritime disputes diplomatically. Then what happened? Lesson number 1. Why China cannot and should not be trusted. My point is this: the Philippines ends up becoming China's soft target because Beijing sees Manila as an American ally. Beijing's strategic confrontation is America-centric. It treats every nation that has good relations with Washington as an active or sleeping enemy, as it prepares for war across the Pacific. WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.